Hey everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule. This is a live show. First things first, Sirach Lofton will be coming in just a second. Jake Sisko, Sirach Lofton, you know him, you love him. He'll be here shortly. My name's Ryan T. Husk. Second things second. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is audio good? Is video good? Let me know in the comments, please. And then we'll know that we can get started officially. Can you hear us? Can you see us? And Sirach Lofton is coming. Let me make sure he's coming. There we go. All right. You guys ready for Sirach? I think we are. Great job, thank you. Here's Sirach Lofton. Sirach, we just live about 10 seconds ago. Hey everybody, and hey Sirach Lofton, how are you?
What's up? What's up? How are you?
So let's say some quick hellos to everybody that's here, and we'll get started. First, Paul Brullo, I think, Brullo or Brullo. Wagyu, hello. Firenze again. By the way, I think I said Firenze means strength, but I was thinking of fuerza. Firenze means like Florence or something, I believe. Taurus, great job. Hello. Anne Marie, that was quick. That was quick, right?
Yeah.
Stephanie K, by the way, somebody asked me today if they could be on your podcast. I'll tell you who that is privately, but it is somebody that we mentioned multiple times on the podcast yesterday. Great job. Hello. Homer Frizzell, also very quick. John D. Brewer, hello. Eve England, all the way out in Wales. Dreamer, hello. Delphine, hello. We owe you a message. Jenna, all the way from New York. Who else? Jackson Shoemaker, or as the Germans say, Schumacher. Meredith Michael, out in Massachusetts. Hello. Immo Radke, calling in from like midnight in Germany. Hey, Immo.
Immo, we have a question for you about the German version of the production, right?
Oh, that's right. Do you think he would know it? Ask him.
He might know. We were talking about the German version of DS9, and they said, according to Anne Marie, that one of the dubs of it has Morn talking or saying something in response. So it was a little gem that we found out about, and we wanted to confirm if that was true. Did Morn ever speak in the German version of DS9?
So, Immo, you would have had to see every single Deep Space Nine episode in German and remember that. You'd be able
I remember.
But supposedly, he did say one line in German in that episode, I think, right? Saying, "Oh, actually, could you come back? I got something to say," or something right?
Like that, right? That's what, at least that's what we're told. So it's good to know whether that's true or not.
Yeah, I believe that was Anne Marie. Who else has joined us? Seal 0626. Remember Seal, right?
Oh, yeah. I Kiss from a Rose on the Grave.
There it is. Christine made it. Scott Sapoznik made it. NRAM says hello. Jackson, thanks for the welcome, says. Immo's glad to be here. Great, awesome. So let's get started. We just recorded an episode. We can't tell you about it though, but it's pretty cool.
We just recorded it, but we won't say anything. Just a little tease.
Do you have any allergies yet, Sirach? I had allergies starting this morning and last night.
Yeah, I don't even recognize if I do have allergies or not. So, as far as I know, I don't have any allergies.
Oh, and Kat is singing to us.
Kat, our king.
I think that's a song.
Yeah.
I thought you were going with Barbara Ann for a second there. Barbara Ann.
Yeah, I don't know what song that is. I'm gonna pass on that.
Eve England says, just watch the Jem Hadar episode. did everyone on the cast realize this early on, how the Dominion was going to develop into the epic story arc that it turned out to be? That's a good question.
I know I did not. And it ends up being the real huge chunk of what DS9 is going to be about. I certainly didn't think that it was going to be the entrance into a whole new world of conflict.
I think I just made my audio better.
Okay.
I should have done that sooner, but we're in kind of a rush. Oh my goodness, we are joined by Rose Kirby, all the way in the UK. Hello, Rose Kirby. Nice to see you. Nice to hear from you.
Hello.
Anne Marie says, that's just word on the internet about Morn.
Oh, okay.
The only time he speaks is on German, dubbed DS9 under his breath when Quark walks away. Okay. Well, we're going to find out. Immo's going to tell us.
I think he says asshole under his breath. Is one word.
Huh. I don't remember that episode. Do you, Sirach? Delphine says, one of my favorite Cheers episodes is when Frasier's son can't say anything except Norm.
No, I don't remember that. Interesting.
Uh-oh, Meredith's pissed.
Come on, Sirach. You don't remember that? No, I don't remember. Sorry.
All right, San Francisco Bay Area fan here. Kat Rosenberger, have you guys had any contact with Manu Intereme lately? Any desire to do Renegades 3? Sirach?
Do have a desire to do Renegades 3. I think that's a good franchise that they built real good integrity with. One of the best fan-run Trek enterprises that I think I can remember. And I haven't talked to Manu in a few years now. But last time I talked to him, we were hanging out, I think it was in Missouri or somewhere, and he was hosting a convention. That's a good one, Rex. I see you.
I don't know if that's what he's talking about. I don't think so. I think I'm pulling that out of order there. Actually, I just got a text from Manu yesterday. So shout out to Manu Intereme. I did just get a text from him. He was just kind of checking in. Cool. So shout out to him. I'm sure Rex didn't mean that. Oh, wait, Peter Karuba has joined us, and so has Vianne Chevalier. Both of them were part of our Star Trek Las Vegas episodes. I don't see Peter Karuba here, but Anne-Marie says, still thinking about your Fabergé level Easter eggs. Oh, yeah, he made some really cool Easter eggs. This guy's super creative and talented. Okay, Firenze says...
I missed the Easter eggs.
I'll show them to you. That's pretty impressive. Quick question, because I'm rewatching the episode, but have you reviewed In the Pale Moonlight?
Not yet. We're going to get to it, and I think it's going to be one of the big episodes. Obviously for Aaron Eisenberg, because he's heavily featured in that. So I can't wait till we get to it. We love James Darren, and obviously it was an impactful episode for so many people for so many different reasons. But I can't wait till we get to it. I'm actually really excited about watching these DS9 episodes. It's funny because in the beginning it was like, all right, let's do this, and it was more work than entertainment. And now I sit down and I'm really thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I mean, here's the thing. As Star Trek fans, we all know that our favorite thing in the world to do is to watch Star Trek with somebody that hasn't seen it yet. And it's kind of like a Star Trek nerd fantasy, is to be with somebody every step of the way as they're watching Star Trek through fresh eyes and for the first time. And so for me, I get that in spades, in that I get to be with you step by step, every step of the way, watching Star Trek for the first time. But it's so much more than that, because you are also giving it this extra layer and depth and behind the scenes stories that obviously no other first time Star Trek viewer could ever give. So it's kind of like I get to be like the student or the teacher, bringing you along, but I also get to be the student with you telling me all these fun stories about it. It's been the best. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've been having a great time. And getting to see the cast, doing their thing lets me have a whole new respect for what they've done as far as the work that they did on the show. I kind of know them as friends and, people that have gone through the same experience, but not really looking them in the light of, their performances. And now that I get to see their performances, it's like, it brings you in. It draws you in, and you start to become really concerned about the characters and, what they're going through.
Also, quickly, Vian, she wants to plug something. Yeah, go ahead and plug it. Thanks for asking, Vian. Definitely. Here's one along those lines. Since In the Pale Moonlight is one of the greatest episodes, would you consider reviewing it during a live session? We've got basically at least 2 years to decide, but what do you think, Sirach?
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I think some of the big episodes that we have coming up should be done with a little bit more fanfare, and we're going to be doing our best to get different guest stars in that have been on the episode, so we can get their feedback. Directors, as we've done. So I think that when we get to these bigger episodes, like In the Pale Moonlight, Far Beyond the Stars, the ones that really stand out as being exceptional, I think we should go into greater detail and give more description about it.
Hidden Hand, welcome, says, I've watched all the series back to back to back so many times since last year. My show that I like to have people watch is Breaking Bad. I just saw that for the first time like last year. Have you ever seen it, Sirach?
Yeah, I have seen Breaking Bad. I think it's a really good show. And I always use it as an example of showing characters that are doing bad things, but you root for them anyways.
Very bad things.
Yeah, well, I think it shows a level of layers and a dynamic that allows people to not singularly look at one thing as like good or bad.
Sure.
There's good people who do bad things, bad people who do good things, and it's really convoluted in these kinds of ways. We have to look at what motivates people to do what they do, and so there's so many factors. And I like using Breaking Bad as an example of good character development.
Here's a tough one for you to answer. I'm guessing it's going to be tough, Sirach. Hi again, guys. From Claire, she says, I was watching season 6 of Deep Space Nine earlier, and I know there was kind of a Zial Garrick thing, but do you think it would have been nice to see Zial and Jake interact more?
That's a good one. Yes. Is that a good answer? You got to tell me more about who Zial is, man. I don't know.
Zial was Ducat's daughter. She was like a half Bajoran, half, Cardassian love child. I don't remember when she interacted with Jake, but she was certainly closer to his age than Garrick was.
Okay.
And it was definitely later on. And I think they had 3 actresses playing her at different times. So that may have also been confusing.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it would have been great. I think you're right, Claire. Meredith says, I absolutely love watching and listening to people as they engage in Trek for the first time. Engage, she says.
Engage. Number 1.
Engage, Mr. Number. Here's a good one. Patrick says, Sirach, would you make my day and say, writing about a bunch of white people living in the moon, man, who cares about that? Thanks, love you guys. Let's hear it. We're ready. You can take a moment to get into character if you want.
Let's see this one. Writing about a bunch of white people living on the moon. Man, who cares about that? There it is. That's all I got.
Thank you, Patrick Brownfield. That was great.
That That's a throwback to Far Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, see? Vianne agrees. Oh, wait, no, she doesn't. She says Garrick Seal. not Garrick and Srock.
Yeah. No, not Garrick and Jake.
Yeah.
Or no, Seal and Jake. Garrick and Jake would even be weirder.
Okay, so maybe I missed Vianne, what she said, but Kat hooks it up for us. She says, Signal Boost, Pop Culture Hero Coalition, founded by Chase Masterson, is organizing an effort to get face masks and shields to hospitals in hard-hit areas. So thank you, Vianne. Thank you, Catherine, for boosting that for us in case we did miss it. Pop Culture Hero Coalition. Check it out, guys. And let's get some people some face masks and shields and like maybe some swords too.
Maybe gloves, but
to keep them at a distance, like 6 feet, man. If my sword can poke you in the chest, you're too close.
You're too close. You're too close.
Sam Seaton, all the way in Australia, I believe she was. I've been binge watching Hot in Cleveland. Doesn't that have Betty White in it? I haven't seen it.
No, I don't know Hot in Cleveland. Not familiar with it.
Immo says, status update on checking for Morn speaking in German. He supposedly said, one, and there is a word he says, macht nicht, meaning doesn't matter.
Oh, so he does speak.
So that is that's official German confirmation.
So now we have to call Mark Allen Shepard and tell him his royalties haven't been accurate. And he's actually got lines.
Right.
We need it.
Right.
He need to renegotiate.
And I think Anne Marie and Immo both get 10% finder's fees for that royalty.
They should for the difference.
Oh, hang on. There's a plot twist here.
Uh-oh.
Christine says that Zial and Jake is pretty popular in the fan fiction circles. So,
really? Oh, well, I'm going to have to look up this Zial character again.
Well, there are 3 people that played it. Maybe one of them says, all right, let's do a little audio book on it. Fiden says that.
Why did they have 3 people play it? Is there a reason for that? Or
I'm sure there is. I don't know it. I don't know if it was scheduling or if Zial needed to be. I think a lot of it had to do with her age, because I think when they first had her, she was like supposed to be 13. But then when they tried to make her have a thing with Garrick, who was like 90 or whatever, they're like, let's try to bridge that gap just a tiny bit and get somebody a little bit older.
Okay.
I think that might be part of the reason. And the third one, I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh, here's a good one. Great job, says Sirach. At the time, did you like or dislike Jake not pursuing Starfleet?
I didn't really have an opinion about it at the time. I was so happy just doing the shows that we were doing, and the episodes were so well written. The relationships were so, we're still developing. So I was having fun doing my scenes with my dad and doing my scenes with Aaron. So I wasn't really thinking, oh yeah, I need to be at Starfleet. They're messing up my future, and this is not right for Jake. Jake should, why was he studying with O'Brien if he's not going to be an engineer or something?
This just doesn't make sense. I'm going to talk to Ira.
This doesn't make sense. Yeah, no, I didn't have that kind of thought into it. I felt like the writers knew what they were doing, and who am I to question such brilliance?
Good point. Also, big shout out to Melissa Longo, who joined us in our recording today, and she's always so much fun and so cool, and she's 7th Rule royalty and always welcome back anytime. Hey, Melissa, thanks for joining us in the live chat here.
Thank you.
Jenna says,
out to Melissa.
Isn't she the best?
She's just a class act all the way around.
And a SAG actor, by the way, everybody. So if you need an actor to hop on your production or just do an audition, whatever you need, contact Melissa Longo. I believe she's working on a reel right now, but she's a SAG actor and she's awesome on set. Jenna says, I just saw Andy Robinson when he was young in an episode of Bonanza. Wow. No, I had no idea.
Yeah, I got to do a convention with Andy, and I forgot where it was. I think we were in London, or in England, and the fans were coming up to him. He was sitting next to me. We don't always sit next to each other. Sometimes I'm usually sitting next to Aaron a lot, But this day they just placed me next to Andy Robinson, and I got to see the fans that come up to him and what they say to him, and the interaction. And they were bringing up things for him to sign, non-Star Trek things that he was involved in, like Dirty Harry posters. And I just remember saying, "Man, you were in that. You were in that. You were in that. I didn't know that." And then he started to tell me about all these things that he had done, and I realized, wow, this guy is like legit.
Serious.
He is like a legit actor, and he's been around for
60 years
before
almost.
I was born,
Right.
way before I was born. So,
Right.
much respect for Mr. Robinson. I think he's a fantastic person. He really gets it, and how he maximized his character on this show. You know, we all get these roles on our different things in life as we're acting, and you never know the impact of the role that you're going to play. You usually say, all right, well, I'm here for a day, or I'm just guest starring. So, who knows if what I'm doing is going to matter. But our guest stars made such use of their time on screen that they mattered just as much as our regular cast. So
Totally.
shout out to our complete ensemble, the true meaning of an ensemble.
Right. Like all the secondary characters, like Andy, Max was awesome. Of course, Aaron Eisenberg, Mark Alimo, Casey Biggs, all these guys, just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just everybody. Chase Masterson, everybody came in and really just made this thing work and played their part, and the fitting of it all together. It's I think it's from the A Team when he says, "I love it when a plan comes together."
Yes.
Uh,
And speaking of Chase, VN says, I'm coordinating the Pop Culture Hero Coalition effort, Shields for Healthcare Heroes. Hit me up if you're interested in contributing. So, guys, memorize that name, VN Chevalier, and just go spam her right now and tell her how much you want to contribute, and she will be happy to take your message.
Pop Culture Hero Coalition. Sounds really cool.
Kat confirms Sam is from Australia. And Sam confirms that Betty White is in it in Hot in Cleveland. Wow. Here's a blast from the past. Firenze says, I've been watching Spencer for Hire these days. Avery is absolutely awesome as Hawk.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. When I was spending time with Avery and we would go around town and do our various things, the people that would come up to Avery would always refer to him as Hawk.
Yes.
And
cool.
this was well into Captain Sisko, so he could have easily have been referred to, hey, that's Captain Sisko. But most of the people that would come up to him on the streets would call him Hawk. And the funny thing is, I didn't know at the time who Hawk was or what Hawk was. So I just thought it was interesting. I was like, why are they calling you Hawk? So his character, his performance as Hawk is definitely memorable and unforgettable, iconic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. John Brewer says, what's your favorite memory from Of Gods and Men? Oh, that's a good one. When they said that's a wrap.
No, I can tell you the favorite memory. First of all, honor and privilege to work with Nichelle Nichols. I remember that. I've considered that as the highlight of the opportunity to work on that project. The other highlight was working with Tim Russ, who is, just a genius of a person, very talented in so many different ways. but I remember those moments on the set with Tim and with Nichelle, and also the producers, Conway. Those guys that were doing
Sky.
the whole thing, they were just, Sky. Um, they were just really fun to work with, really passionate about their idea, and their passion kind of trickled down through everybody else, and we were all excited to kind of be doing something outside of the official Star Trek parameters, but still inside of the world of Star Trek.
Let's snoop in on somebody else's conversation. Kat says, at Anne-Marie, that was for you, not the guys. They'd never be able to appreciate the magic that is Fiddler on the Roof. Okay. Well, that's what we get for snooping in on someone else's conversation.
A little Fiddler on the Roof action.
Yeah. I have that Mazel Tov song in my database that I listen to every once in a while. Oh, here's a book from Andy Robinson. Melanie says, I recommend Andy Robinson's book, Stepping into the Light. I didn't know he did that one. I just knew that he did A Stitch in Time, which is, I think, the best and definitely my favorite Star Trek book ever. Carly Shibby joins us all the way from Utah, saying we love Melissa. And more love.
Stepping into the Light, is that a biography, or is that a Star Trek book?
I don't know. That I don't know. So we'll have to ask them what kind of book is Stepping into the Light, because I don't recognize that title.
Right.
Here's a good one from Kathy. Avery will always be Sisko to me. I don't remember his Hawk character. Well, you're missing out.
Yeah, the Hawk character is awesome. It's a mythological character that Avery, essentially brought to life with his performance. This guy who is in the shadows of the darkness and always kinds of pops up in the right moment to save the day. It's like a superhero type character in the modern sense of the word, and it's the reason why when Sisko goes bald and has the goatee, it changes who Sisko is. It makes him that much. It makes him that much more powerful, and his presence that much more felt because of the groundwork that he laid as this Hawk character. So it does play into even Sisko.
Yeah, when he shaves his head and grows the goatee, that officially signals that Sisko is done playing. He's just got like this completely different vibe about him, and the writers kind of start adjusting his writing. Suddenly, then he becomes more calm and collected and brooding and serious. Imo, by the way, update says the second talking for Morn is, I don't know if he's saying at 4 minutes and 24 seconds or if it's season 4, episode 24, but he says dann nicht, then leave it. So Morn really says a lot in German.
A lot more than he says in English. That German voiceover actor was like, I need more lines, damn it.
More lines than zero.
Yeah, more lines than zero.
He's
probably tired of going into do dubbing for breaths.
Yeah, for breaths and grunts.
Exhale, inhale, grunt.
So Meredith says, didn't they say in the Deep Space Nine documentary that they originally made Sisko have a head of hair to keep everyone from seeing him as Hawk? Yeah, that's definitely what they said. But eventually they gave in, and I think they made the right choice, right?
Yeah, that's what I understand. That they didn't want to remind the audience of this Hawk character, and I guess eventually they just said, screw it. It'll work.
Patrick Brownfield says, you missed the question about Jake joining Starfleet. Wanted to hear the answer on that. I think we covered that for the most part, right? You said you just kind of didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind not being a part of Starfleet. I wasn't really concerned with it so much. it wasn't on my list of things to do. It wasn't on my checklist. Like, I got to make it to Starfleet and show myself to be like my dad. I didn't really think of it that way. I really just thought of it as, I'm getting these different scenes. The writers were doing a great job at continually to grow my character as I was growing. So, whatever they felt was a good fit, I trusted.
So Melanie gives us an update. Full-Time Stepping into the Light, Sources of an Actor's Craft by Andy Robinson. So it's an acting book. Huh. That's really cool.
That'll be a good one, yeah. And he definitely is classically trained and approaches the profession of acting as a craft.
Oh, wow. Here's a conflicting report. Thomas says, Stepping into the Light was the episode in which Kira's friends from the Resistance were killed off one by one by a Cardassian who was hurt during one of the attacks carried out by the Shakar cell. Now I just
Tupac Shakar.
And Imo clears that up, 4 minutes and 24 seconds. So that's at that point, not the episode 24.
Imo's picture, man, he's got a lot of hair there. That must be a young picture of him.
That's how we get during the quarantine. I'm getting a little shaggy myself.
Yeah, he's got a Kurt Cobain look to him in that picture.
Kat, they better invite him to Star Trek Las Vegas this year if we have it. Who are we talking about, Kat? Mark Allen Shepard, maybe?
Andy Robinson?
Ooh. So, there's a Tarok North trilogy.
Do you think there will be a Star Trek Las Vegas this year?
Yeah, guys, let's talk about Star Trek Las Vegas. So 2 days from now, they are going to announce that it's officially canceled. They're going to Friday morning. That's 1 day from now. Yeah, Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I was about to say, you're breaking some news right now.
I know, you're like,
bro.
are you sure? No.
Are you supposed to be saying this? Okay. So we don't know. It's still, we just don't know.
We don't know. And personally, this is what I think they should do. And what do I know? Because I don't know anything. I think they should just wait, play it by ear. Don't make any major decisions one way or the other until maybe June 1st, because so many things can change. Some things, God, people are commenting when I was saying that. Look at all these. They're like,
yeah, you did not make people happy with that special announcement, Ryan.
But things keep changing. Like day to day, we're hearing about treatments. Day to day, we're hearing about vaccines. Day to day, we're hearing about testing. We're hearing about good news. We're hearing about bad news. We're hearing all these things. So I think, obviously we know that July and August will probably be the safest months in 2020 because it's probably going to come back in September, October, November, possibly. So
right.
If there were to be something, it would be in July and August. Those would be the safest times. But even still, nobody wants to be the convention that screws the pooch, right? Where all these conventions cancel, like San Diego Comic-Con is about to cancel, or maybe already has. I don't think they've made it public yet, but they're about to cancel. And nobody wants to be the one that does it anyway. And then they get a lot of really bad PR at the best, and at the worst, they have reason for bad PR because shit went down because of it. So I don't know. I really hope it doesn't get canceled, but I hope it doesn't get canceled responsibly. And I'm sure that if they don't cancel it, they will be responsible. They're gonna err on the side of caution. Creation's not stupid. They make a ton of money. They know what they're doing. They're not going to put anybody in jeopardy. You haven't heard anything, have you, Sirach?
No, I haven't heard anything in regards to the cancellation of conventions. I imagine that even if they don't cancel and they continue to move forward, that there will be certain protocols that will change going forward, anyways, as far as distancing and things like that. I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to be requiring people to stay far away from each other, or something that they're going to make an alteration. The convention life won't go back to exactly the way it used to be.
Right. And if they did somehow figure out a way to do it, then, they would probably institute a rule of no shaking hands with the actors and no asking the actors to shake hands, because then you make the actor be the bad guy. Or what if the actor doesn't want to shake your hand, but they don't want to say, no, I don't want to shake your hand, because they don't want to be a dick. So they would probably institute these rules ahead of time, saying like, don't ask the actors for a handshake. Don't ask them for a hug. If you get a selfie with them, it's just taking a picture of them, not of you with your arm around. You got to protect the actors, because the actors don't want to have to sit there and turn people down 1,000 times. That would be terrible.
Yeah, so it's going to change some things. I remember doing conventions and always having a bottle of hand sanitizer in front of me, and a lot of the actors did. I have a visual memory of Aaron Eisenberg always kind of wiping down every time he'd shake somebody's hand. He'd do himself a nice little hand sanitizer job.
He had more hand sanitizer than anybody. Yeah. Elisa will attest that he was the king of. I mean, she's probably got buckets of hand sanitizer right now, just left over from Aaron's convention bag. So she didn't have to go to the store. She's like, I'm all set, you guys.
Yeah. Aaron used to hand sanitize religiously, like an OCD type thing. And like I said, that was before any of this. That was just his natural state. He just always was conscious of, germs.
My favorite response to my blatant lie was TV 1967 saying, I was like, he's getting sued.
Yeah. Yeah. Those statements reflect Ryan's personal view.
Jenna says, at this point, I think STLV is still possible. Too soon to cancel, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so too. But we do have to remember, sadly, that they are going to err on the side of caution. So that's my guess. But it's probably a safe guess, because they're a really big company and they're a smart company and they know what they're doing. And if it's 80% safe or 90% safe, they're probably going to cancel it, because they're like, look, we don't want lawsuits. We don't want bad publicity. I think that if it does not get canceled, then you can feel safe in knowing that they did their due diligence to know for sure that it should be a safe thing to do.
And the other thing is that people come from all around the world to these conventions. And if airline restriction is, still in effect, then people can't come from various places.
Right. I mean, a lot of people have already bought their plane tickets. They've already, paid for everything.
Hotel rooms. Yeah.
Okay. Here's something of an update. Ronnie Pinder says Destination Star Trek is still going ahead in November so far, but at the moment, the venue is temporarily a hospital for COVID patients. Destination Star Trek, that's the one in London, Sirach?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's November now, so they just have more time to decide. They still have 7 months, so they're probably not saying it's not canceled. They're just saying, hey, we don't have to decide yet. We'll see what the people in August say.
Yeah, and it's crazy because remember, just recently, Homer and everybody was on the cruise,
right?
And that cruise actually occurred during this, so I thought they didn't cancel that.
Well, yeah, because it was like at the last second.
It was like the last moment, right?
Right. Yeah. And we were all like, "Are you guys really going on that cruise? Everything okay?" They're like, "Yeah, we're." And a lot of people were responsible about it. Like Homer said, he went home and self-quarantined for 2 weeks. So that was very cool and responsible, just to play it safe. Heather Jordan reminds us that she and Kat are getting together. Their Beverly and Troy yoga outfits. Remember those?
How can you forget? Once you see that, you never forget those
call
road
your
outfits.
own.
Actually, you can't unlearn that.
Oh, good night to Eve England. Thank you so much for joining us, Eve England. It's almost midnight your time. So thank you for joining us, and good night in Wales.
Thank you. Good night.
Uh-oh, here's the troublemakers here. Everybody, look out. Peter Karuba out in San Francisco says, if Nevada follows California policy, then it will not happen this year. How dare you? But Peter's the guy with the cool Fabergé eggs that he made. So, and he's got some models.
So he makes Fabergé eggs. Just that. I just want to make that clear.
I'm not really sure. He definitely bedazzled them, though. He like bedazzled them with all these jewels. I'll show you the picture. It was pretty impressive. Pretty cool. He's super creative with his holiday stuff.
Cool.
Deanne says, we made it by the skin of our teeth on that cruise.
Yeah.
Delphine says virtual convention would be great. I remember one time Creation streamed some panels live. It was almost like being there in person. Yeah. Also remind me after this, Sirach, I want to talk to you about something similar to that. Somebody was asking about that. But
virtual convention.
Yeah, the problem with virtual conventions, and not to piss on anybody's parade, but a lot of us go to the conventions more so for the human interaction and the people and the friends and the reunion of it all, including with the actors, more so than sitting and listening, for the 100th time as the poor actor has to say the same answer of what was your favorite moment as Jake Sisko. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, can I get asked something else?
Right.
What was your favorite moment as Jake Sisko?
This moment right now. No, people do go for this social experience. I mean, it's, people get married at the conventions. They meet each other. Their friends grow, their circle of friends. It is a platform for socializing. And if you take the social out of it, then it becomes really kind of mundane in some type of way.
Hello to Orville Nation. Looking for your comment. They say, you remember Orville Nation? They're always great, always awesome. They got really good guests. They just got, what's her name? I can't remember. Katie Sackhoff. Is that right? You guys just got Katie Sackhoff as your guest like yesterday? They say, digging that backdrop, Ryan. Thank you. I felt weird, though, earlier when I was going like this. I was leaning here. And I was like, if somebody tunes in, they're going to think, this is the dude most full of himself in the history of the world, where he's got a picture,
the two-headed Ryan
picture of himself and another guy, and he's using his head to cover the other guy's head. So I was like, wait, I can't sit like that. I look like the apex of full of myself. If I lean like, I'm like, okay, wait, there we go. Let me just, hey, everybody.
There you go. You see that?
Yeah. But thanks, Orville Nation. We really appreciate you guys. Love what you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
that backdrop.
Kat makes a good point. There's a lot of money to give back. They won't do it till they're held to the fire. Yeah.
And I agree with you, Kat, on that one. I think they're going to hold on to the last minute if they can, because they obviously want to do it, and I'm sure there's a lot of money riding on it. But there's also probably a deadline to pull out if you're going to have to back out of hotels and back out of all kinds of stuff. So they're going to have to figure it out.
Right. They can't wait till the last minute because there are planes and hotels and contracts. And Rose Kirby says, why don't they do a virtual show and do autographs by post? You wouldn't mind that, right? Just signing autographs and having them mail them out for you?
I've thought of that a long time ago. I thought that would be a great thing to do because it allows people to get their autographs. A lot of people collect. They've gone through these years of collecting, and they've flown around the world to get one person and this person. And sometimes they're just one or two autographs short of a collection or completing their journey. And I thought it would be great to have a centralized thing that handles the transaction of these last autographs and people's autographs.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll see that coming out of this.
Seal says the atmosphere in the room is a massive part of a convention. It's just great seeing everybody, talking to everybody, having fun, actors and con goers alike.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see people dressed up in their favorite costumes. You want to take pictures with them. You want to share those pictures. You want to walk around the dealers' rooms and find new shirts and hats and pins and merchandise that you can purchase. So, I mean, the whole thing is part of the joy of it too.
Good point by Joe Allen Music. The social gathering, a shared experience. Hopefully, this all helps humanity treasure how special it really is.
I do hope so. I really do.
Melissa says, we were lucky the cruise happened without incident as far as COVID-19 is concerned.
And
Barely.
I was really worried about it. I didn't want to say it because I felt like saying something about it would like put a weird jinx on it. But I didn't say anything about it when Homer and Melissa were saying they were going to go on the cruise. I didn't want to say, hey, don't get COVID, But at the same time, it's in the back of your mind because, cruise ships are like the thing that harbors a lot of this stuff. And you can't go anywhere, so it spreads easily. But I'm glad that we were able to make it through there, and the actors and the fans and everybody did not suffer the catastrophe.
Trying to do it. Kathy D says you should pose the same way as your picture, Ryan. The problem is this like a mirror image, so every time I try to adjust it, I adjust the wrong way. I just can't do it. Sirach, can you do your picture?
Let's see. You're right about the mirror image.
Yeah, I know, it's so hard. We only have two options and we keep picking the wrong one.
There it is. That's me right there.
Here's a good one.
I need the backdrop with the Rex has with the glasses.
Nice.
Rex has his own version with the glasses.
Shout out to Rex A. Wood, who we found out was Andrew. Rexford Andrew Wood, but I wouldn't. Sirach, given other actors' stories, how has Shatner been toward you when meeting at cons? Sirach, may I remind you, you have one pass card that you can play.
Shatner has been cordial with me. He's been cordial. Sometimes he needs to be reintroduced to me because people feel the need to say, hey, that's Sirach from Star Trek DS9. He played Avery's son. And I've heard that said to him about me at least 20 times or a dozen times. So at some point I'm like, does he know who I am or not? But
remember, he's like 88. He's like 88, the guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he meets tons of people, and he and I don't have any personal thing. But I'll say this though, Shatner and Avery started to really cozy up together towards the last part of Avery doing conventions, and they began to develop a really kind of weird friendship. And during that time, this was after obviously Shatner interviewed Avery for the Five Captains documentary that he did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they got to know each other. I think Shatner spent time at Avery's house in New Jersey for the filming. So after that happened, they began to know each other and become better friends. And I can say that Shatner at that point kind of was more responsive and interactive with me when I would see him at that point.
Okay.
And then after that, I saw him again, and he didn't recognize me at all. So,
yeah. Stephanie K kind of sticks it to us a bit after I just got done saying, well, it's the experience that we like going to the Star Trek convention more than anything. And she reminds us that this is virtual and we're all being social here in the chats.
Yeah.
So, okay, good point. Touche.
That's a touche, Stephanie K. You're right about that.
That should be her nickname. Touche Stephanie K. Unless she hates it as much as you do. Oh, and
so.
Anne Marie says something that would embarrass most people. I watch lots of Pawn Stars. We need a ticket to establish provenance. I don't know what that means. Meredith Michael says,
okay.
Yeah, we'll see how virtual masquerade happy hour goes. Okay, it's the yin and yang here. Virtual masquerade happy hour.
Virtual, yeah.
We're equal opportunity zingers here.
I guess if everybody had a drink in their house, like we could toast one.
Right. So here's a good question. Nick Sorrells. Hello, Nick Sorrells. Sorrel is an herb. It's prevalent in France, specifically southern France, I believe. First time viewer. Quick question. Do the Star Trek cast members stay in constant contact with each other? Like constant, daily, nonstop? Like, can you group text the rest of the Deep Space Nine crew if you wanted? Thanks for your work, guys. Thank you, Nick. I mean, you've got all their numbers, right?
I've got most of everybody's number. Yeah, I don't have everybody's number. I mean, usually if you're trying to reach out to somebody, you can find them through other people. The constant contact is at the conventions, and that's really one of the beauties for conventions from our perspective, is that we get to see each other again and renew our, friendship vows in person. So I think that's one of the beauties of doing the convention and being able to be present. But no, not too much as far as on the day-to-day. I talk with Avery more so than any other of the cast members, and I try to reach out to other people when I hear stuff going on in their lives. So that kind. But I don't think there's ever been a group chat between all of us. Actually, I'm sure there hasn't been a group chat between all of us.
How about, here's an interesting thought. Which Star Trek actor outside of Deep Space Nine have you been in contact with the most?
Whoa, outside of DS9?
Right.
Brent Spiner is one of them. Garrett is one of them. Anthony Montgomery. Those are the people that I've talked to outside of conventions that are not on my show.
Interesting. By the way, Anne Marie is using this as her own personal dating site. She says 88, but still super hot. And I'm single, Bill, if you're listening. Because Shatner is surely listening.
Oh, yeah. He always likes to follow up on what we're doing.
Yeah. He sends me too many message requests.
She's calling Shatner super hot. That's great. Yeah, he has a certain level of charm to him, though. I have to say, he is engaging and he has this charm about him.
And then she follows up, what? You talked to Brent Spiner?
I talked to Brent Spiner, yeah. He and I were really close for a while there. And even when we were doing DS9, he was one of the Next Generation characters that spent a lot of time talking with me and was really friendly. So I have a lot of respect for Brent. He's a cool guy. Stephanie
K echoes the sentiments that she and I shared on her podcast yesterday. It's called NX7062. Correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie K. Check it out. We're giving a lot of love to Anthony Montgomery. She's saying it again right now. She loves Anthony Montgomery. Cool guy, right?
He's a cool guy. He's doing that Miles Away comic strip that he's been working on for years.
Wow.
And he and I actually, he called me to do a movie that he was working on. And I did the movie with him. And it was pretty fun working with Anthony Montgomery outside of Star Trek and doing a whole other kind of project.
Mm-hmm. He's always got a positive energy, doesn't he? He's always hustling, always moving, always very positive.
Yeah. Very positive, good guy. You could just tell when somebody is has a good upbringing, and they come from good education or good family background. And Anthony Montgomery is related to a famous Montgomery who is a musician. I think.
Really interesting.
Yeah, he's a famous. I mean, literally, the guy has his own guitars, the Montgomery guitars.
Wow.
So yeah, what is his name? The first name is slipping me. But yeah, that's who Anthony is related to. So he actually has a talented family.
Melissa Longo says, I like the online interaction, especially if it is our only option to socialize. However, there is something in being able to hug friends. Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten through a lot of tough stuff with a hug from a friend. So, that goes a long way in life.
Who's the best hugger of the Star Trek actors?
The best hugger is Nana Visitor.
Nice. Because she means it when
Yes.
she gives you the hug, doesn't she?
She means it, and when she says "come here," you feel like a little puppy. You just put your head down and
so cute.
she's the best hugger. And as a matter of fact, I think we ended the show on a hug together. The last shot of the last episode of the series was a shot of Kira hugging Jake.
Oh,
looking out into the window.
Looking towards the wormhole, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Aaron Fraser says, Sirach, aside from the obvious, Aaron and Avery, who taught you the most and/or who were you closest to on the set?
Aside from Aaron and Avery, who taught me the most?
Yeah. Is there a third A?
That's a good one. No, I Avery taught me the most about just acting, and being natural and playing things the way that I thought it should be played. My studio teacher taught me the most. His name was Pat Jackson, and he was an awesome studio teacher. And I got really close with him. He played basketball, and he would invite me to other projects he would work on. He's the one that introduced me to Shaq.
Okay.
On the movie Kazam. Yeah. He was he's the studio teacher, so he works with any underage kid doing a movie, and the movie he was doing was Kazam, and the kid in the movie Kazam, his name is Francis. He was teaching Francis, and Shaq was obviously the genie in that movie, and he said, "Hey, I'm working on this movie with Shaq, and do you want to come down to the set and meet him?" And that's how that went.
Great job.
Call Data now.
What I wanted was for you to say that, and then your Siri to go, calling Data, making a cell phone call to Data.
Calling Data. Or Dr. Data, as I like to call him.
Right. That was Alton.
Yeah.
Okay. Nick's got another question. Does Hollywood keep the sets cold to keep makeup from melting off?
Yeah, I think so. I would say, and then you also have to realize that all those lights are extremely hot.
Right.
And if you stand too close to those lights for too long, you're going to feel it, even with the air condition. So yes, I think it's a must. Yeah.
Also, because a lot of the equipment needs to not overheat, and it can overheat, in higher temperatures, and yeah, like actors are going to be uncomfortable, and if they're on all these prosthetics or if they're in this or that, and it can actually be like a health and safety liability, not just for their comfort, but for their, they don't want to have to take somebody to ER for passing out.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, his nickname should be Anthony the Sweet Spot Montgomery, because at the beginning of his series in the Enterprise, he was talking about the sweet spot being like every ship has like this gravitational sweet spot where like it's like right kind of in the middle where it's not quite up or down or whatever, and you can just kind of float in the middle there. It's like an interesting little thing in Enterprise.
Little gyroscope action.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. I'm seeing this kind of stuff. So everybody be careful.
Be careful of Rico.
Yep, here he is, everybody. Lock your doors. Lock your doors.
Rico's out the house.
Close the blinds. Rico's prowling.
With the what up?
Only 50 minutes late. What's the big deal? He's getting better. So a quick piece on Rico. Rico here is an actor. He played a Moclan. He played the Moclan doctor in Orville's 3rd episode. He's a great actor. He's also on SWAT with our buddy David Lim. He was in Renegades, the pilot episode. He was in Fifth Passenger with us, Assassin's Apprentice. He's very flexible. Oh, he was also in the Mick, which I thought he always kind of plays that one down, but I thought it was really cool seeing him in the Mick because I thought that was a really good sitcom that died way too soon, only like 2 seasons, I think. Great actor. Check him out, guys. Rico
and a good human being too, well, not in Ryan's opinion, but in most other people's.
He's like, I was talking to him this morning, and he's like, "Oh, how was that podcast you were on yesterday?" I was like, "Oh, I gave you a bunch of shout outs." No, I think I said something like, "Oh, you should listen to it." And he's like, "Nah." I was like, "I gave you a bunch of shout outs." He's like, "Okay, I'll listen to it."
I'll check it out.
Maybe. Do you remember the exact time signature of when the shout outs were?
So I can go to the minute mark.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Rico.
Hide your girls, hide your wives.
Oh, Meredith makes a great point. Doug Jones and the Doug hug is the best. The Dougie huggy. Have you gotten a Dougie huggy yet, Sirach?
Not yet. But I also like the hugs where the arms come up this way as opposed to around this way. The up under hug.
Yeah, so
kind of brings you in close.
Massage behind the scapula. Really get up in there. Make it a productive hug. Melissa Longo says Anthony's a great hugger too. Terry is a really good hugger too.
Terry is a really good hugger too. I have to say that. I've gotten some very good hugs from Terry.
Oh, we have a correction from Orville Nation. We did not have Katie Sackhoff. Not yet. We're just sharing her live stream. My bad. So they were sharing their live stream, and I was like, wow, they got Katie Sackhoff. No, they were just helping her out. Whatever, same thing, right?
You got us in all kind of lawsuits today, right? First you announced that Creation's closing. Now you screw up Orville Nation's whole fan base.
Right.
We're getting sued after this episode.
I just like that you're taking the fall with me rather than saying you are going to get sued. You're saying we're getting sued. That's very team. You're a team player. I appreciate it.
I got your back, man. I got your back.
We only have a few minutes left, friends. Joe Allen Music says, Sirach, would you like to share a memorable moment working with Avery, or perhaps a favorite episode in general?
Oh man, there's so many moments. It's really, I can say that I did like the episode where we built the sailboat.
Yes.
The solar sailboat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode. The two of us were in that little ship. I like the lighting in it. I like the outfits that we had. And I just remember the moments that we shared in such a close proximity, in such a small quarters, And then just now, as we were watching, for example, the Jem Hadar episode, there were moments where Avery gave me some great hugs. I think we did a double hug in one scene where he kind of hugged me and I came back and then I hugged him again. Yeah, and we did a double hug in the same little moment. And those kinds of moments, I remember those kind of moments when I see them again, and they bring back really great memories.
They feel so real, and you could tell from a viewer that it wasn't like a fake relationship that the two of you had. It wasn't just like two actors pretending like they liked each other. You could tell that there really was a paternal, a father-son type of relationship there,
Yeah. Jambalaya?
Yeah, that was the
You
line.
making jambalaya, Dad?
You guys, we just today reviewed the final episode of the second season, and Cisco says, "Oh, it's time for dinner, boys," on the planet, and then Sirach says that line, and it's just great. Rose Kirby says, "Hi, say hello to Rico from me." Rico, Rose Kirby says hi.
Whoa, he's flexing his muscle in here.
His yellow muscles.
Hide everything. Hey, you got to brown up your emoji, man. You got to put some color context towards there.
He's got 8 right arms and no left arms. I don't know what's going on there.
Do they make a left arm? I don't think.
No, but he can't defend himself right now. Sirach, my wife and I were at Star Trek Las Vegas meeting with Max for the 3rd time, I believe. He pulled us aside and sang us a song. It was an amazing honor. Did he sing on the Deep Space Nine set?
Oh, no, not that I can remember. No, he serenaded you. That's a serenade, actually, when, you do it for one person or 2 people. But no, I haven't heard Max sing outside of the
Rat Pack?
The Rat Pack show that they do. Yeah, that was the first time I knew he could sing. And actually, just for the record, somebody else can really sing and is a good performer. That's Tim Russ. Got to see his show. And
you've seen it?
I was like,
I've so good, Russ, right? It's so good.
It was like it blew me away because I didn't expect it to be that good. And when I got to see his show, I said, "Wow, Tim Russ is like the man of many talents. Like this guy, he's a director, he's an actor, and he's a legit musician." So, shout out to Tim.
Rico and I have been to a bunch of his shows, and Scott Baker as well. And every time, it's not just good because it's like, oh, I'm here supporting my friend. It's actually an enjoyable time to watch him rock out with his awesome band. So definitely when this thing's over, we'll have to go check him out again. Rico says that episode was a great father-son moment.
Yeah, it sure was. And it's funny because it started out, it was supposed to be Jake and his dad on a father-son camping trip, and it turns out to be like Nog and Quark, but then they made a nice couple of twists on it.
Myth Dust Turds says, who do you think is the most underutilized character in Star Trek?
Well, first, let's say Myth Dustards is just such a great name. It's not the Myth Bustards; it's the Myth Dustards. Yeah. But no, I like underutilized character. That's they really utilize people so well on this show that it's hard to say who's underutilized, right? I mean, there's so many different stories. In all of Star Trek?
I mean, I've got a couple that I always kind of mention the same 2 people, and I mentioned it to Stephanie K again yesterday. It's for me, it's Travis and Hoshi in Enterprise. Anthony Montgomery and Linda Park, 2 really good characters that were beautifully set up, and I was ready for them to be these well-developed characters, and Enterprise kind of stuck with like the trifecta formula that they did back in the day with Spock and Kirk and Bones, and they did that with T'Pol and Trip and Archer, and I loved those characters. They were great, and so were Reed and Phlox, but I wanted to see more Travis and Hoshi personally. And Rose Kirby agrees. She says, that's great, but naughty Rico. Thoughts, Sirach?
No thoughts. I'm gonna take my pass. I think I get one.
There's your one pass.
I'm using it now.
Good timing.
Yeah.
So we got a couple minutes left, guys. Any final questions? Dean Lucero agrees. Mayweather and Hoshi for sure. Bye, John. Good to see you, Scott says. Kat says that's a good one, Ryan. Good answer. People are loving my answer. Yes. Great job, says Travis. Didn't get no play. What does that mean? Thomas says Martok. That's a good one. Oh, here's another good one as well. Sulu and Uhura. I just lost where it was, but I saw it. Somebody said Sulu and Uhura. Oh, there it is. Jenna said that. That's great. Also great.
Yeah.
Orville Nation has a question for you, Sirach. By the way, thank you very much, Orville Nation. Will we ever see Sirach and Avery in a non-Trek future project together?
I think the boat has sailed for that one. I think it would have been nice to do that, and the opportunity was there for a couple of decades, but that ship might have sailed at this point.
You think Avery's pretty much done with acting or projects?
I think Avery's done with acting. Yeah. If maybe something was good enough to bring him back and lure him back, it would be wonderful. I would love to see him to any capacity. We were watching this episode, and one of the things that I was reminded of in this last episode of season 2 was how Majel is the voice of the computer, and it just kind of clicked in again because when Aaron and I were on the ship trying to get the autopilot to fix, it was Majel that was talking back to us, and it just let me know that how many different capacities somebody can be inserted inside of a show. So,
right.
Even if Avery didn't want to be on camera anymore, I would certainly hope that they would even be interested in making him do voiceover work,
Right. That's a great idea, actually. That's always possible. A lot of times people are like done with the stage and with the studios, but they're like, oh, I'll get behind a microphone, sure.
Yeah, and you can pretty much record anywhere. So I think that would be an option that would be nice to see.
Thank you, Sam Seaton. Have a great weekend, you too. Wagyu says, cheers for a fun stream. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much, Wagyu. That looks like a pound. It must be in the UK. Hope you join us next time. Oh, and the Darth Eddie says, number 1, Travis. Number 2, Hoshi. Number 3, Chekhov. Great answers.
The Darth Eddie with a Virginia Tech hat on. Shout out.
Dead Purple joins us. Dead Purple, thank you so much. She says, keep on trekking, guys. Very clever. A quick word about Dead Purple 7. She is a great cosplayer. She's done a lot of conventions. Rico and I have seen her there. Good friend. She's always around. She does cosplay of like Lady Deadpool. She does cosplay of Moana and Selena, the singer Selena from back in the day. And what sets her apart is that she's so great with kids. Every time we see her, she's out giving little candies to kids and taking pictures with. I think their favorite is Moana, though.
Oh, wow.
I love her Moana. But thank you so much, Dead Purple. She's out in Modesto. Sorry about that, Modesto.
She cosplays Selena. That's interesting.
She does it really well, too. Her Moana is really good, too. Oh, and she did Deanna Troi one time, too. Or maybe more than once. Maybe that picture is of her as Deanna Troi. I think it is.
Yeah, well, Deanna Troi, doesn't she? No, she wears purple, doesn't she?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, look at that picture. Yeah.
So is Guinan?
Guinan.
Whoopi Goldberg. Guinan.
Yeah.
She wears purple too, right?
Yeah.
Just shout out to the Dead Purple Mafia. That's all.
Luchin says, watching from Argentina, thanks for the show. I really enjoy it. It's awesome to see actors reviewing their shows, especially if they are Trek. Big shout out to Sirach there.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, Ryan, you were saying it's fun to watch people watch Trek for the first time, and it's even more rare for somebody who actually did it to watch it for the first time.
Right. That's so cool. I love that. Thank you so much, Katie Carr. Blessings and keep up the great work. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Where are you calling in from? That's kind of a new name to us. Before we go, we're going in a minute, Katie, but if you tell us where you are, we'll give your town a shout out. I always like to know, like, some people are in Adelaide, some are in Wales or Canada, Alaska, you know, really a lot of interesting places.
Cool.
I like big books. Says, I feel like there's a great opportunity for Sirach to be on Picard. Totally agree, especially since Jake was not in Starfleet, but he would have been writing and aware of what was going on around the galaxy. Totally.
They actually could have used me to interview him in the scene where he was being interviewed in the first episode.
Yeah, but we don't want you to end up being kind of a jerk like that lady was at the end there. We don't want that.
Yeah, she was a bit of a jerk. But then I could have thrown in something like, "What about my mom?"
Great job. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dead Purple Mafia for life. We're seeing it. But we're not finding out where Katie's from. That'll be next time.
Great job. That's a Bajoran pin? Is that logo?
I don't know. I didn't check.
For their icon, I think, for great job.
Let's see.
It's got to be.
Oh, yeah. No, totally. You're right. Good catch. Absolutely nailed it. Yeah.
All right. Good. I know.
Thank you, Vianne. Hopefully we'll see you in August, whether virtually or there we go. Final answer. Carmel, Indiana. Thank you for joining us from Indiana.
Some really good people in Indiana that I've met. Awesome. As a matter of fact, Gary Avery Brooks from Indiana.
Right. And Doug Jones, too.
Okay.
So that's...
And Michael Jackson.
And David Letterman. Come on, we could do this all night. Actually, I can't. I'm out of names. Pete Buttigieg.
I thought Larry Bird. No? All right.
Maybe.
That's all I got.
Maybe. I don't know that one. Okay, you win. This time. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. Really cool, guys. You guys make this so much fun for us. Any final words from you, Sirach?
Yeah, I will be singing karaoke this August with Lane Frazier. So stay tuned
it's
for
locked
that.
in. Locked in. Joe Allen Music, thank you so much. He says, keeping your ears open. Ears are open with the purple heart.
Ears are open. Good.
Nice. Great, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Go ahead and hit us up on social media if there's a guest you'd like us to see. Or, sorry, if there's a guest you'd like to see on our show. Sorry, it's been a long day for us.
Yeah.
And, any suggestions you may have, hit us up on social media. Sirach is going nuts on Twitter already. He's blowing up the world.
Blowing up.
and we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So if you could share our YouTube page and get all of your family members to subscribe, we'll be forever in your debt. Thanks very much, everybody.
For your support.
All the best. And always
stay safe out there.
That's better than what I was going to say. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Nice backdrop, Homer. Yeah.
Always remember the 7th rule. Bye, Peter.
Keep your ears open.